Hi, my name is Sarish Sudhakaran, and in this video, we'll analyze the cinematography of Robert Elswit. The goal is to break down his techniques so you have a starting place to learn more about his work. Robert Elswit started off as a visual effects photographer for Apogee and later ILM. He plays down his contributions on Star Wars 2 and 3, or should I say 5 and 6, E.T., Poltergeist, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and so on. During this time, he also started shooting made-for-TV or direct-to-video movies and a few TV episodes. He was very prolific during the early 80s when he made about 8 movies in 5 years. Today, Robert Elswit is known most for his collaborations with Paul Thomas Anderson, with whom he has done 6 movies, missing only The Master. Paul Thomas Anderson is tough to work with, and even Elswit admits as much. His methods are unorthodox and not very linear, but over the years they have come to trust each other enough to produce some great cinema. Anderson loves the moving camera and frequently tries to get in long takes whenever he can. He loves to watch his actors improvise and only takes a final decision on the blocking when he's absolutely satisfied the scene works emotionally. He doesn't give the actors marks, so pulling focus is tricky. Needless to say, it makes life as a cinematographer hard. You can't anticipate too much, and you have to make space for the actors to improvise and the director to change his mind, which happens often. Anderson also hates filters in front of his lenses, though recently Elswit convinced him to at least use the 85 to balance tungsten stock in daylight. Both of them prefer to shoot in the anamorphic format on film, and Anderson is adamant to get the sharpest and cleanest looking image possible. So he shoots with the best prime lenses and the lowest rated film stock. Except for color timing to correct the lack of filters, no other grading is done in post, and he hates the DI as well. This means Elswit must and often does nail it in camera on location within the low budgets and tight schedules they work under, at least by Hollywood standards. Elswit loves the contrasty image, though he has made exceptions for films like Tomorrow Never Dies. He lights faces to a contrast ratio of 2:1 stops or even 3:1 stops, and it varies depending on the plan he has adopted for that particular movie. When receiving his Academy Award, he credited the production designer with 80% of his success. He spends weeks in advance with the production designer working on the look of the movie. It's this kind of meticulous attention to detail by Elswit and the rest of the crew that allows Anderson the freedom to work the way he does. When it comes to lighting faces, Elswit has 3 styles that repeat often. The most common, his weapon of choice, is the 3/4 top light. Sometimes it's soft and sometimes it's hard, but most times it's somewhere in between. He loves to use Lowell Refas and Kino flows and also pushes light through diffusion or muslin. When it's time to get glamorous, this key light is supplemented by a hair light from exactly the opposite direction, usually from the top. Sometimes this light is also hit from the side and is warmer than key. When his faces are in profile, he often hits them with a rim light cutting them out from the background. And this also manifests itself as a light sandwich. That's 2 rim lights on both ends with a shadow in the middle. Most of the time, though, his lighting is from the top and front, or the Hollywood style, and this gives his actors the freedom to move around and still look good. The key side is overexposed usually, though the exact value varies, and he uses a 1-degree spot meter to get precise readings on film. The backgrounds are usually under by about a stop or more, and in this sense, he doesn't stray too far from convention. Yet, he hasn't fallen into the current trap of making everything look shiny and polished with a lot of soft light. Right from the beginning, he has stuck to Panavision cameras and Primo lenses, and with Paul Thomas Anderson, he uses the 40, 50, 75, 100, and 180 mm lenses. It can be either the C or E series anamorphics or even modified sphericals by Panavision for each project. One great example is the use of a modified 1910 43 mm Pathé lens adapted for a few shots on There Will Be Blood, like this one, where you can see the corners changing colors. He shoots to between T2.8 to T4 and is not afraid to change apertures to keep edits visually deep and exciting, like he does with recent action flicks like Salt, The Bourne Legacy, and the two Mission Impossible films. He has also shot spherical and in 1.85:1. On his movies with George Clooney, he has had to use multiple cameras, zoom lenses, and diffusion filters. His versatility is also evident in the way he recently tackled Nightcrawler, where he shot the day scenes on film and the night exteriors on an Arri Alexa. He has to use large light sources to balance exteriors on his interior shots, bouncing light from multiple HMI sources from 6K to 18K. In Nightcrawler, he wanted to nail the exterior exposure first and only light the action in front of the camera, and he did this to get as much detail as possible in the background. He has shot countless films at night before, and his intimate understanding of Los Angeles gives his movies a unique perspective on the city, its streets, and its stories. Robert Elswit is honest about his shortcomings and is not afraid to share his mistakes, like for example, describing how he screwed up the shot between father and son towards the end of There Will Be Blood, for which he won an Oscar. I hope this brief video makes you curious enough to learn more about the brilliant cinematography of Robert Elswit. It's always a major event when an Anderson Elswit film is announced, and we can expect more from them soon. The best way to learn more about Robert Elswit is to watch his movies and from his interviews in the American Cinematographer magazine and elsewhere. If there's a favorite cinematographer whose work you want analyzed, let me know. To see more videos like this one, please subscribe. There are lots more on the way. Bye now.